I told you, all of my critics, I told you all that I was the greatest of all time. When I beat Thunder Lister, I told you today, I'm still the greatest of all time. Never again defeat me. Never again say that I'm going to be defeated. Never again make me the underdog until I'm about 50 years old. Right. Then you might get me.
I like that he has a very strong mindset and he fought all the greats at the time. Foreman, Frazier, Norton, those are the very big fights, or Sonny Liston. He had the skill, he wanted to fight, he had the mindset. He had the mindset a lot. It's a lot to me because that's my favorite boxer, and that's where he used to train and where he cut down trees and where he stepped in there. Be like Ali, like where wants to understand how boxing works, understand how to win fights. So I want to learn how to study the sport and be an expert. Muhammad Ali, like he was an expert at boxing. Punches are just a part of boxing. Defense is a big part of boxing, but boxing has way more than just punches and defense. So Muhammad Ali signed this, and it's very crazy to think about. He touched it, grabbed it, and then signed it right there. It says God is one, and that shows that it's real and it's not fake. It's a Islam pamphlet. So what it says inside of the God is one pamphlet is, you can say God is one, beautiful, we can't agree with you more. I hope that you really mean it when you say God is one. God is the creator of the whole universe. God created everything visible and everything invisible to human eyes. He is the God for Muslim, he's the God for Christian, he's the God for Jews, he's the God for Hindus, he's the God for believer in him, and he is the God for those who do not believe in him. All humanity is under one God. So I like surrounding myself with boxers and fighters and real people, like the Real Deal with Bruce Lee, or those fights, or Ali. And then I got these posters, very cool posters. So Canelo versus Crawford, Saturday, September 9th. But this was a big fight because he whooped Canelo. Crawford whooped him. It means a lot to me to visit the Muhammad Ali Center and see how it was restored.
This is the legend of Cassius Clay, the most beautiful fighter in the world today. This brash young boxer is something to see, and the heavyweight championship is his destiny.
Muhammad Ali bought this property in 1972, and shortly before one of his biggest parts of his career. The camp is in Deer Lake, where no one could distract him, or not like in the city. Ali wanted this place so he could focus on being the heavyweight champion of the world. Many people consider this as the most private camp in history. Some boxing's greatest trainers and sparring partners walked here. Reporters came here all around the world to interview Muhammad Ali.
Up here, I've knocked down 4 of the biggest trees out here. I'm chopping wood now to get in shape. I'm running up and down mountain in these big boots. I got my own trailer here, living privately. Don't have those hotels and all those people in the lobby bothering me. Eating good country cooked food, breathing good air, drinking the spring water right here, coming right from the creek, and I'm ready.
So all these dad painted these on the walks, and he did that for a living. Well, Muhammad Ali admires those boxers.
All the stones that Muhammad Ali's father put and painted for, like Joe Frazier, Gene Tierney, Jack Dempsey, Sonny Liston, but here, Joe Louis. Yep, this right here is Ali's, where he trained at, in this building here. How many times does Ali walk through this door? Incredible. This is Ali's training gym. Come on in. This is all the times he's been Sports Illustrated.
My name is Mick Stefanik, General Manager here at Fighters Heaven. So we're going to take a little walk of the grounds and check things out. The camp is 6 acres. It's both sides of the road. It covers, there's 5 different buildings that you'd want to get into as part of the tour. But over there, the green sign above the shed door were the years that he owned the camp. So he began training here in '72, trained for most of his fights to the end of his career in 1981. Then in the 80s, for a period of time, he leased the camp for $1 a year, and it was set up as a group home for unwed mothers and teenage girls who were struggling at the time. In the 80s, for a period of time, it was a group home called Thy Kingdom Come Group Home, and it was for unwed mothers and teenage girls struggling at the time. And then he eventually does sell it in 1997 to a guy from Reading, Pennsylvania, which is about 35 minutes south of here. Ali was in Reading a lot while he was here training, and his name was George Dillman. George Dillman was a martial arts karate guy, well known and respected in the martial arts world, and he ran it from '97 until 2016 as the Butterfly Bee Bed and Breakfast. But it was more a karate activity than a bed and breakfast in the little cabins. He would have weekend sessions here, and people came from around the world. George is well known and well respected in those circles. And then from 2010 or so, it was for sale until it was bought by the current owner shortly after Ali passed in June of '16. Ali is gone 10 years since this June 3rd, he passed away. But the buildings look like the side of that barn and stable back there. If you look to the right especially, you see there's bark on there yet and cement, and you turn around, that's how the gym looked. So the bark's been stripped off and there's a different material between the logs now, and an Amish company came in and did what Amish people do. They do real good work with this, with restoration. So the current owner found the camp and decided to buy the camp after all he passed. His name is Mike Madden. His father was John Madden, NFL John Madden. So he bought it solely to save it. He had no game plan in mind. He just wanted to preserve it because he was looking at buildings like what's back there at that stable. Right. So the restoration started early '17, and then the camp, as you see it now, opened in the summer of '19. It's free, there's no admission price if people like to give a donation, or if you purchase any kind of t-shirts or merchandise, the money goes to the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research. Money sent to the Muhammad Ali Center down in Louisville, Kentucky, and then money is also sent locally to an organization called Avenues, which works with people with disabilities. So kind of keeping Ali's legacy alive, not only physically, but the kind of guy that Muhammad Ali was. So this is what you have here. This was the first side that was built. The gym was the first building to go up. That side of the road took shape a few years later, and there's 10 buildings over there. There's the mosque, which is the white building, and then he had 8 of those little cabins built, 3 across the road, and then there's 5 more up on the hill, and that were pretty much where his staff and overnight guests would stay. And then at the very top, there's a larger cabin that was used as a rec room, and they had pinball machines up there, a pool table. They'd go up there, hang out, relax. So that takes care of that side of the road. The blue sign out front, that's through the Pennsylvania historic. Yeah.
Original.
Yep. The blue sign, that's from Pennsylvania Historic. So that takes us to this side of the road. The boulders you see are all people that Muhammad Ali admired and respected. They're mostly boxers. Some of them he fought, some of them he didn't. He didn't fight Marciano, he didn't fight Lewis, but he did fight Joe Frazier, and he beat Sonny Liston to become champion the first time. And then there's two non-boxers. His trainer here, Angelo Dundee, and before coming here, he was training at the Dundee's 5th Street Gym in Miami Beach. So Ali's training in Miami Beach, big city, a lot of things going on, and distractions were getting the better of him. So he decided he wanted to get away from the big city distractions, and he gets invited to train on a mink farm 3 miles down the road in Deer Lake. So he didn't come here immediately. It was called the Pollock Mink Farm. One of the owners, Bernie Pollock, was a boxing guy, and on his mink farm, there was a workout setup. And he would invite boxers to come and train. I'll go back 5 years from 1972. In 1967, Ali fought a guy, Ernie Terrell. Ernie Terrell trained down in Deer Lake on the Pollock Mink Farm for that fight against Ali. So 5 years later, Ali's training on the mink farm, but it's outdoors, so weather would mess up his training, rain, whatnot, and it happened too often for Ali, and he kind of told Bernie he loved it in this area. This area was great, but he couldn't have his training interrupted. Is there anywhere in the area to build something permanently? Now, the mink farm was 3 miles down the road from where we are today, but the Pollocks owned this land. So Bernie sold them this land, and Ali created this camp, which he called Fighter's Heaven. And then the last boulder is the Bernie Pollock over there by the well house. If you haven't gotten over there yet, you'll see that it says Ali to Bernie, 1973. Sugar Ray Robinson is coming into view here. Ali and Sugar Ray had a great relationship, and when Ali was younger, he was waiting to meet Sugar Ray, and Sugar Ray kind of blew him off, and that stuck with Ali. And Ali said he would never make someone feel that way. So Ali talked to everybody and anybody. Over here, kind of two signs that explain what the camp's all about nowadays. When the camp was being built, Ali was living in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. The guy here in this bottom left photo with the eye patch is Bernie Pollock. So that's Bernie there. And then you see some photos over here of Bernie. So we're not going to get in a weight room or a workout room. Ali would chop trees and he would run every morning to get in shape and stay in shape. This is him with his wife, Belinda or Kalela. The ring you see now kind of represents where the ring was back then. The fireplace would be right about here in this photo. This trailer was brought up from the mink farm to stay in as the camp was being built. And then this shows the progression of the camp. Cars are right about here. There's no cabins up top yet. This is Sonny Liston. Blue historical sign is now here. Joe Frazier. This is going to become the Jack Dempsey boulder. Over here, far right middle is a photo with the far right middle photo of John Madden with Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson. And then just the two displays. One is of some Sports Illustrated magazine covers. He was on about 40 Sports Illustrated magazine covers alone. This display, some events that have taken place. 6 of all these kids have come back. So 6 of his children out of the 9 have returned. And then Larry Holmes has returned a few times. He started here as a sparring partner. Where you see an office now, that's the sparring partner's locker room. The middle door is the bathroom. And then we're going to head over into Ali's locker room. But the bathroom door didn't exist. So it was to get into the sparring partner's locker room, to get into Ali's locker room wall. But in between both locker rooms back there was a shower and a bathroom. So to get to the shower, you had to go through either locker room. Like I said, if you want to get up in the ring for some photos, just wipe your feet pretty well. So this was where Ali would get ready. We're going to end up over to his cabin, which is straight across. But this shows you why it was set up the way it is. Here he is sitting on the couch that was over there at the time. There's some more photos of on the couch that was there. This area here, you had a robe, door, scale. Kind of see still where the shelving is running along the wall. And then on top, if you look at the top of the scale and just go up the wall about 1.5 feet, you'll see what he weighed when he was here training for his second fight against Leon Spinks. Yeah. So that's August of that year. He was going to be fighting in September. So he's a little bit away from it.
So they wrote that on the wall?
Yep, that's there. That's been there forever, since August of '78. Before we head out the door, a few things about those photos. You'll see benches similar to that recreated. Where you see the car is where his cabin is now. So if you look straight across, that's where his cabin is. And then now you see trees everywhere out there. Back then you don't see any trees. And part of the reason was he chopped down hundreds and hundreds of trees during his time here training. Yep, that was a big reason for it. Because he didn't lift, we're not going to get in a weight room, we're not going to get in a workout room. He would chop trees and he would run in the morning. And then when you get back here on your own, I'm going to show you some photos you might want to take. If you want to sit on the couch like he is there, strike a pose, put your phone up to your, feel free. You want to lead us out, please? And then to the right, you're going to see the fireplace. That is anthracite coal. Jack Johnson being the first black heavyweight champion. He wanted to honor him in his own kind of special way. Yes. And then as we walk towards his cabin, you'll notice it's not a log cabin like the other buildings. It's made out of an old railroad bridge. And there's a short video in there that I think you should watch. It'll give you a great idea of why the cabin looks the way it does. Yep, and then the last buildings to point out, there's nothing to see or get into. We start up there with our school group tours, but they're the bunkhouses, and that's where his sparring partners slept. So real quick recap, Ollie stayed here, sparring partners stayed up on the hill, staff was across the road in the little cabins, and then the family was out front. You're gonna see there's a bell here in the corner. And it's a bell, not the bell. The bell you're gonna hear and see first thing in the video, and he's gonna be standing there and he's gonna say, that bell rings every morning at 4:30 and every fighter in those 2 bunkhouses must be down here ready to run. Rings again at 8 o'clock for breakfast, 5 o'clock for dinner, and 10 o'clock lights are out. And as he's saying, he's gonna be walking alongside the cabin and he's gonna go in just like we're about to do. If you wanna now or later on, you wanna ring the bell, you wanna go over and grab the rope and pull the bell down?
Go ring the bell.
And then if you want to take some more photos on your own.
Yeah, we're going to do it when we come back, when we circle back.
Yep, I'm just going to let them do it. That will pump water. If any of you want to work out, you can get some water coming out of that well. Pull it straight down. There you go. There you go. And then this will pump water, but it'll take a while. Let's see how it's primed. Is it easy? Down. All right. Oh, I was going to see if we had enough momentum that you could do it. So this is set up to look like the video. This video is only about 4 minutes. But again, before coming here, he was in beautiful hotel rooms to this. So he's going to come in and he's going to talk about a rope bed similar to that. He's then going to come over and stand by the table that was here. You'll see a stuffed pheasant in the video, and he'll talk about having oil lamps like the one hanging from the ceiling for lighting. Second part of the video, he'll come over by the coal stove, which was a heat source. And then the video is going to finish with him right about where I am pumping a glass of water. And then he's going to be asked, well, what about television? And he says, I go over to my kitchen to watch television. This was a real simple toilet of some sort in here. In this binder, there's some cool photos. I just like to point out a collection of them with the great Jim Brown, and then also a photo of him on the bed over there. See him on the bed over there?
Is that his bed?
Recreations. So let's I'll just give you a quick 10-second preview, and then you can watch this on your own.
That's your bell, I take it.
That bell rings every morning at 4:30, and every fight in those two bunkhouses must be down here dressed by 5 ready to run.
And then he'll go into the rest of it. Just a real quick recap, 5 buildings, these 3 here, kitchen, gym. Check out the chalet where the family stayed, and then across the road, the mosque is open, but feel free to walk up amongst the cabins. There's a big boulder up top with a plaque on it, recreated to look like the one that was there, recognizing Muhammad Ali as 3-time heavyweight champion, which he was the first to do that. Then you see some photos of him here hanging on the wall. People like to recreate these photos and put yourself in the same spot. So if you want to come over here and sit on the bed like he is there, or if you want to kind of lay across, or you're in the perfect spot. You stay in that chair, okay? I'm gonna move you though while you're in the chair, okay? Yep, we're gonna do that. Ready? Put your you might want to go closer, right? Let's go closer to it. Is that close enough? Yeah, there we go. Okay, put your hands behind your head, and then you want to look straight forward, and then you want to strike the pose, and there you go. So I'm going to turn you loose now on your own, all right? Yep.
This article explains that this place was here for abused children and pregnant teens to stay here and live in here. We kindly ask that you remove your shoes or use the shoes covering up entering the mosque. Thank you for your cooperation.
Really, I want to say something right here. This might make you all think. Life is not really long. Let's say the average person is 30 years old. If you're 30 years old, you are now but about 7 years old. How can I prove it? Out of all the 7, 8, 9 hours you slept for 30 years, out of 30 years, out of all the nights, last night when you went to bed and woke up this morning, you don't remember a thing. You've been unconscious for about 8 years. If you're 30 years old, you slept about 8 years. Okay. How much traveling have you done in 30 years? From the television station to home, to another country, to another city, to school, to church. You've probably traveled 2 years of your life and spent just getting back and forth to where you're going. By the time you have children, by the time you have made a way for your children, by the time you pay for your home, you're pushing 60 years old. So life is real short. So you add up all your traveling, add up all your sleeping, add up all your school, add up all your entertainment, you've probably been half your life doing nothing. So I'm 35 years old, 30 more years, I'll be 65. We don't have no more influence. We can't do nothing much at 65. Wife will tell you that. So what I'm saying, when you're 65, out of 30 years, I might have about 16 years to be productive. So it's how we can all break individual lives down. What am I going to do in the next 16 years? What's the best thing I can do? Get ready to meet God. Going in real estate, going in business, teaching boxers, that won't get me to heaven. How many here believe there's a supreme being, believe there's a God? How many believe there's some power that made the sun, the moon, the stars? How many believe that this stuff didn't just come out here? Somebody wiser than us made it. How many believe there's a God? How many believe there's not a God? All right. You who don't believe in God, if I told you that this glass sprang into existence, this glass made itself, no man made this glass, would you believe it? Would you believe I just told you this thing made itself? Well, if this glass can't make itself, if I told you those clothes you have on wove themselves, nobody created them, those clothes made themselves, you wouldn't believe it. But if your clothes didn't make itself, if that glass couldn't make itself, if this building didn't make itself, then how did the moon get out there? How did the stars and Jupiter, Neptune and Mars and the sun, how did nature, how did all this come here if didn't know why is something planning to make it? So, we don't have it about 80 years on earth. This is a test to see where will we spend our life in heaven and hell. This is not the life now. Your real self is inside you. Your body gets old. Some of you go to look at the fridge, you don't have no teeth. Your hair is leaving you. Your bodies get tired. But your soul and your spirit never die. That's going to live forever. So your body is just housing your soul and spirit. So God is testing us on how we treat each other, how we live, to see where our real home be in heaven. So this physical stuff don't last so long. We don't stay here. We're just trustees. We don't own nothing. Even your children are not yours. If you think I'm lying, your wife is not yours. You die and come back a year later and go slip in your bedroom and see if your wife is by herself. See, you don't own your wife. You don't own. I divorced my wife. You may have read about it. And my 4 children, they call another man daddy now. They don't see me no more. You don't own your children. You don't own your family. The most important thing about life is what's going to happen when you die. Are you going to go to heaven or hell? And that's eternity. But when I die, somebody's watching me and keeping count, and I can't get away. And I'm going to burn forever and ever and ever. I'll go to heaven. So what am I going to do? I'm doing right now. I only have 16 years to be productive, get myself ready to meet God and go to the best place. Does that make sense?
What caused the fighters' heaven to fall into disrepair after Muhammad Ali stopped using it?
Yeah, when Muhammad Ali was no longer using the camp here, it went through a period of kind of abandonment where there wasn't really anything going on here. His name was George Dillman. He was a well-known martial arts karate guy. But the camp has had 3 owners. So it was Muhammad Ali, it was George Dillman, and now it's Mike Madden.
Was there a point when the property was close to being demolished or permanently abandoned?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when the camp was purchased in 2016 by Mike Madden, it was in not the best of shape, and it had been for sale for about 5 or 6 years until bought in 2016. And the buildings kind of had been worn down, and nature had done some damage to them. And it was just a matter of time where probably this camp would have disappeared.
What part of the site were the most damaged or risk before restoration started?
Okay, so the worst of the worst buildings were the bunkhouses where the sparring partners stayed. They were really beat up, and there were holes in the sides, and yeah, they probably took the most wear and tear. All these the actual cabin where Muhammad Ali stayed needed a lot of work also, and in fact it was kind of sunk in the ground. And when the workers came in, the Amish group that came in that did all the restorations, they had to kind of jack it up and make it level again. And then the barn and the stable, which you see outside in the back corner, that gives you a good reference of how the buildings were before all the restoration took place. So if you look at the stable and the barn in the back, the side of it, nothing's been redone to that or restored versus to the outside of the gym here or the kitchen or Muhammad Ali's cabin.
Why do places connect to famous people like Ali sometimes struggle to stay maintained after the pass away or move on?
Yeah, I don't know how much we as people appreciate history, and it took someone like the Madden family, both Mike and his father John Madden, who were really into history. John Madden was a historian buff, and he really was it was important to him to keep the history of the NFL remembered, and he was big in making sure people or events weren't forgotten in the NFL. And Mike felt the same way about the camp here, that this was a national treasure, and it's now a national landmark, and it was something that had to be saved, not just from a sporting aspect, but from also just the kind of guy or the person that Muhammad Ali was. So I think people tend to not remember history, they tend to forget about history, and that's why this makes this place so much more significant.
Were there any financial problems or ownership issues that made preservations difficult?
No, the current preservations and the restoration of the camp is all Mike Madden and the Madden family. It's great that they had the resources to do what's been done here, to bring it back to life. There's a lot of people that come and visit the camp today that were here back when Muhammad Ali was training, and the remarks are just amazing about the condition that the camp is in now versus even how it was when Muhammad Ali was. It's now a museum, so it's really got a kind of classy look to it in a lot of ways. And Mike Madden was able to do what's been done here with his own financial resources and his ability to keep it free. So when people come here, they don't pay anything. They can give a donation, but there's no admission price. And then those donations go to the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research. Money is sent down to the Muhammad Ali Center in Louisville, Kentucky. And then here in the immediate area, there's an organization, Avenues, that works with people with disabilities that the camp also helps to support. So we've kind of partnered, there are three organizations that we like to support, or that the camp likes to support, and keeping Ali's legacy alive. Because Ali was a kind, generous human being, and he helped out a lot of people. He helped out a lot of organizations, and he put up a lot of buildings, for example, mosques that were built to help those who were in need. Muhammad Ali's passing on June 3rd of 2016 really started how the camp has gotten to where it is now. So Ali passes on June 3rd, 2016. Mike Madden, the current owner, is from out in the Bay Area in California, San Francisco, Oakland area, and a big Ali fan. So he kind of gets online and does this looking around. And at the time, the camp was called the Butterfly Bee Bed and Breakfast. And as part of Mike's searching online, what pops up is the Butterfly Bee Bed and Breakfast being for sale. And Mike takes a red-eye flight out and walks the grounds, and he sees the grounds and the buildings as they are really beat up and kind of, not really beat up, but they were run down. And he decides on the spot, one trip here, that he wants to buy it and save it. And he calls his dad, and his dad, John, had been recovering from a major surgery, so Mike just wanted to check in on John and see how he was doing. So he calls out and he says, "Hey Dad, how you doing today?" And in John Madden voice, John goes, "I'm in the office, and Troy stopped by, and we're just doing some talking here, and it's Troy Aikman." And Mike goes, "Well, listen, Dad, we're going to save a piece of American history." And John goes to him, "What do you mean, Mike?" And Mike goes, "I'm buying the Ali camp back here in Pennsylvania." And at the time Mike's talking to his dad, he's standing out in the front of the gym by the Joe Frazier boulder. And John goes, "Well, what's your plans for it, Mike?" And Mike goes, "I don't know, Dad, but it's not going away." And John comes back with, "Well, damn it, somebody's got to do it." And Mike says the story, and that was his green light to go for it. And from there, he started the restorations in early 17. This was probably in July of 16 when he was here. And then it took a few years to get it to where it is now, and the camp officially opened in the summer of 19. But the passing of Muhammad Ali got the balls in motion to get to where we are today here with the camp. And it's an interesting story and an interesting phone call that Mike had with his dad from Sculp's Hill all the way out to Pleasanton, California. This is the listing. And then it's $250 a night, and then whatever Airbnb puts on top of it.